Hi, I hope you're well today. Today's video is all about why I prefer my Christmases sober. Now, I can remember one of the worst Christmases, and there were quite a few. One of the worst Christmases I had was when I was drinking, and they all kind of followed the same pattern. They all involved every single Christmas would involve getting drunk on Christmas Eve, getting drunk on Christmas Day, carrying on drinking into Boxing Day. Basically, any excuse to get drunk, Christmas provided it. Not only Christmas, but New Year as well. So it tended to be whatever time I had off work over Christmas and New Year would be spent drinking. That was the pattern. And of course, with that drinking behaviour came debilitating hangovers. So I'd kind of alternate between, I'd swing from feeling really, really crap and recovering in bed all day and going out drinking. And that would be the pattern. So it would be one or the other. And I remember a very particular Christmas day where I'd woken up on the Christmas Day morning at my partner's house, and I'd woken up, can't remember now what I'd done the night before, where I was or who I'd been with or what I'd been doing, but I can remember vividly waking up on this Christmas Day morning and just feeling awful. Just waking up with that, all of the feeling of stale alcohol emanating through every pore, a horrible taste of stale alcohol in my mouth, like really strong, like I'd just consumed a whole bottle of spirit. Well, I hadn't. In fact, I'd been asleep for a couple of hours. But you know that feeling when it's just sort of emanating from you. And I just had this overwhelming sense of dread. I knew that I had to, because I'd been staying at my boyfriend's house, I had to get home. He was driving, not me. I was in no fit state to drive. He was going to drive me home where my son was. We were going to get ready. Then we were going to drive another half an hour or so to my parents' house where we were going to spend the day with my nieces, my nephews, my brother, my sisters, mum and dad. It's going to be the usual traditional family gathering on Christmas Day. And I woke up in bed that morning and I just felt, what did I feel? I felt a mixture of different feelings. I felt shame because I'd got so out of control that I hadn't stopped myself drinking the night before. So I wasn't waking up feeling fresh-headed and lovely and eager to embrace the day. I was waking up feeling terrible. So I felt that sense of shame. I also felt a rising sense of panic and anxiety because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could face the day. I didn't want to move out of bed, let alone get in the car and go home and get changed and put on a happy face. I didn't think I could survive the car journey home without being sick. I didn't think I could sort of act and behave as if I was normal, put a smile on my face and show that kind of outward appearance of being fine and happy and normal in front of all those people. It just felt like pressure and I just didn't think I could do it. I wanted to just hide. I wanted to just pull the duvet over my head and just hide and recover. But I couldn't. That wasn't an option. I needed to get up. I needed to get in the car. I needed to go home and see my son. So that's what I did. And I remember vividly that car journey, just sat in the passenger seat. And it's really hard to find the words to describe the fear. The fear that I was going mad, the fear that I was out of control, the fear that I was going to have a panic attack, the fear that my son was going to tell there was something wrong with me, the fear of how the hell I was going to get through the day and face the world, face everybody at my parents' house, how I was going to smile and be happy and enjoy myself. None of these things seemed possible because I felt so hungover and so awful. When I looked at myself in the mirror, all I could see was this ashen face, this white-faced person looking back at me with really puffy, bleary eyes and a sort of an expression that was kind of sunken is the only way I can describe it. Just like this zombie, sunken, dull-eyed, miserable person looking back at me. And all I could think was, I couldn't work out how I was going to make her look better. because it was obvious to me looking at this face in the mirror that there was something hideously wrong with this person. And I couldn't work out how I was going to make myself look better so that other people wouldn't know there was something wrong with me. And to cut a long story short, what I decided was the only way I was going to get through the day was by carrying on drinking. So when I got home, we were all getting ourselves ready. I had a couple of glasses of wine while we were getting ready because I knew hair of the dog would make me feel better. Now, it didn't make me feel good. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel drunk. I didn't feel any of those things. All the wine did was it took the edge off. It took the edge off me feeling so crap. But I was still scared. I was still paranoid. I was still ashamed. I was still guilty. I was still dreading the day. So when we actually got to Mum and Dad's, I mean, luckily, because it was Christmas Day, the drink was flowing. So we had aperitifs, we had some, I don't know, something sparkling, some sort of sparkling drink like Prosecco or something. And so, of course, I was able to keep on drinking. And it got to the point I was able to give my excuses. I can remember giving my excuses when I arrived on the doorstep, actually saying to my mum that I had a really queasy stomach and I wasn't feeling very well. So she'd have to excuse me because I wanted to get my excuse in early. I wanted to give a justification for why I wasn't going to be eating much and I might not be the life and soul of the party. That's how paranoid I was, that I wanted to just give excuses and make my justifications so that I would feel better, that people would have a reason why I wasn't behaving in a kind of normal, happy-go-lucky way. And then I can remember drinking and starting to feel better. I've got a very hazy memory of having a drunken conversation with my mum in the hallway. God knows what I was talking to her about. I can remember sitting in the back garden with my little niece and playing with her, playing some kind of game. I can't remember what it was. I can remember later on in the evening having a drunken jiving session with my dad in the kitchen, and I can remember actually falling over and banging into the kitchen units. I can remember getting drunk enough that I could start to pick at bits of food because my stomach wasn't right. I could start to pick at bits of food once everybody else had finished their meal. I didn't even enjoy a meal along with everybody else. I just sort of sat there drinking while everybody else was eating and then started to pick afterwards. And so I've got snippets of memory and really hazy memory. And what I do remember is at the time thinking as I got drunker, sort of feeling a sense of relief that I was no longer feeling hungover and crap. But by the time I was no longer feeling hungover and crap, I was drunk. So it had taken me that much alcohol to start feeling better that I was then drunk again. And at the time, I kind of felt like this was great. It was such a relief to not feel crap anymore. I was having a great time. I was chatting and laughing and playing and having games and jiving with my dad in the kitchen. And it was all part of the general Christmas merriment and shenanigans that we were drunk and we were falling over and all this stuff. But in the cold light of day, looking back at all of that, I can see now how I was totally over the top. I was totally out of control. I was too loud. I was too silly. I was too out of control. I just wasn't in a good space at all. And that was kind of typical of my Christmases when I was drinking. And of course, the alcohol was both the cause and the cure for the anxiety, the panic, the paranoia, the shame, and all of that. The anxiety was the alcohol was the cause of the hangovers, but it was also the cure for the hangovers. So although the alcohol cured me on Christmas Day, what it also did was created the next hangover. And that was the pattern, that was the cycle. And I can't tell you what a difference it's made that I'm now sober. My Christmases are a totally, totally different thing now. So this Christmas, for instance, a few weeks away, 3 weeks away, this Christmas, I am really looking forward to my now grown-up son coming to visit me. He's going to come here on Christmas Eve. And we're going to spend the evening chatting, catching up, having a laugh, playing board games, watching crap TV, and just generally connecting and enjoying each other's company. I'm then going to drive the two of us through to Mum and Dad's again for our traditional family Christmas Day. And I'm so excited and so looking forward to it, because it's just that Christmases have taken on a whole new meaning for me. They're now about indulgence. Sure, they're about food, and indulging myself with, the kinds of food that I wouldn't normally eat on a day-to-day basis. But they're also about indulging in connections and relationships and family and friends. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone, to having fun, to having a laugh, to catching up with my nieces and nephews, and playing games and eating lots of lovely food and all of that. Christmas is all about those connections and the catching up and the getting together with people and the enjoying the company. So it's taken on a whole different meaning, and I'm really excited about it. So alcohol doesn't enter into it. It doesn't enter into my thinking. It doesn't enter into my body. I'd give no energy to it whatsoever. All I'm literally doing is thinking about all the things I'm going to enjoy over Christmas. Christmas Eve with my son, Christmas Day with my son and the rest of the family. Then on Christmas Day evening, I'll be giving my son a lift to his girlfriend's parents' house, and I'll stop and have a chat with them, spend an hour or two there catching up. I don't know them that well, so it's one of those kind of, not awkward exactly, but I'll be on my kind of best behaviour. It'll be quite polite, but they're really nice people, and I'm really looking forward to catching up with them. That wouldn't have been possible in my drinking days, because I would have been so paranoid about how I was being, because I would have been drinking, that I would have found an excuse to have just dropped my son off and then just left. But as it is, I'm looking forward to catching up with them. I'll then be driving home and spending the evening with my boyfriend, who will have spent Christmas Day with his mum. So we'll cosy up on the sofa and just catch up over the day's events, and no doubt eat more leftover food. It really is a time for indulgence, basically. Then Boxing Day, we're going to spend the day with my boyfriend's mum, and again clear up some leftover food. So my Christmas is just about seeing people, having fun, relaxing, eating, and general indulgence. And it's kind of like when I was drinking, and I used to imagine what Christmas would be like without drink. It used to fill me with terror. It used to fill me with dread. Like, where was all the fun going to be? How was I going to enjoy myself without alcohol? It was that fear of missing out. If I'm not drinking, what am I going to be doing? And the truth is the opposite. The truth is I've discovered that I was missing out more when I was drinking than I am now I'm sober. Because being sober, when you have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, being sober means you get to gain so much in your life. I get to be present on Christmas Day. I get to be 100% authentically me. I get to create some really special memories with people that I'm close to in my life. I get to wake up with a clear head and no hangover. I get to enjoy myself. I get to smile. I get to have the confidence that I can be who I am without being ashamed of it. I gain so much from being sober that I can clearly see now I was missing out on all of that when I was drinking. And the only thing that drink gave me was a temporary respite and relief from all of the symptoms that it was causing me in the first place. So I just wanted to offer you some inspiration and reassurance about why Christmases sober, if you have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, Christmases sober are so much better. They win hands down. If you want more tips, inspiration, motivation on living your life happily and healthily sober, you can subscribe to my channel. I'll look forward to catching up with you very soon, but in the meantime, let's go get sober together.